of that next year. So, AI, what a completely meaningless term it's become because it means, 1,000 different things to 1,000 different people. So, what we do know is it's well and truly out of the bottle, right? It's not a case of will it catch on, and it's definitely more a case of what do you do about it? How do you think about it? How do you execute it? Which bits can you afford to ignore? And if it's a thing for you and your clients and your world and the thing you're trying to build, is making sure you don't have to play catch up. And in the coaching space, which is very much online driven these days, most have about 3 months to be first mover in their category. I have not seen a category, maybe apart from sales training, where first mover advantage isn't available to someone. 6 to 12 months to deploy something with actual utility, and 12 to 18 months before your window is likely closed. And I don't even like saying that because as soon as you have these kind of like doomer predictions that, do this or everyone's screwed, if everybody can take it a little bit literally. But this is a social media moment. And those that got to major social platforms with content and ads early on and worked out how to use them built huge moats that you can see today. Because that's me, right? Everything that I've got today was accumulated by surfing a couple of waves. And it's crystal clear that AI and the utility of what I'm going to speak about today is the next wave to surf. And I've seen and ridden three waves. I got into the daily deals industry early when there was tons of attention and funding and financing and opportunity, right? And got there early and did very well. Social media and then online coaching came along, massive distribution with a high margin business model. And I surfed both of those, kind of simultaneously. And this is the next one. And we never know when the next wave comes along. And you know, for some of us, it might be the last wave we choose to catch, and it or not. But they're the complete polar opposite of that. There's definitely a tiny sliver. I know one person who is doing this and can do this of the market who can choose to be anti-AI, right? Human only boutique, come to my house. I don't even have a phone. We communicate by fax machine. Boutique position in the market that will happen. There will be the pendulum will swing in 12 to 24 months where there's going to be someone who says, fuck all this AI, this technology, everything's fake. And I'm only doing human stuff and et cetera, et cetera. That's going to be exceptionally risky for 99.999% of people, but it is a position. So today, my only goal is to quantify AI in coaching and put some goggles on you to see how it can be deployed, and at a delivery stage, a sales stage, and at a marketing stage. So I asked myself, and this is going to get like real meta in many cases because there is a virtual me inside the machine and then there's me. I asked myself the question, how is AI changing coaching, right? And I came back with the answer to myself, which is accurate. Speed and scale, AI makes it possible to deliver personalized plans, feedback, or diagnostics. I want to highlight the word personalized there. One of the big things with AI is we can give every single person in our world from beginning to end a completely personalized journey. That wasn't available, 12 to 18 months ago. Our data, AI never forgets anything. As soon as you tell it something, it remembers, which has lots of intended and unintended consequences. But it means that it can manufacture huge efficiency and consistency. Even more leverage. And again, the leverage curve is shooting up vertically into the right. And the fourth point that I highlighted again is, there's no more one size fits all. AI enables true personalization, adapting resources and messaging to the unique needs of each client at scale. We have a very smart person in the community called Justin, and Justin has an offer right now that is selling on the front end at $17, and he has a customized game plan that he's giving people via a quite sophisticated but still very simple GPT, where he gives people a custom 17-page plan on how to embrace the business model and the idea that he's selling, right? All completely automated, but custom and specific to each individual who goes through it. This is not only, the future of marketing and the present, because you can do things at scale that we weren't able to do before. To give people, to give 100 people, a specific plan that was specific to each of those used to take literally hundreds of man hours, and now it just takes a few machine hours. So AI has changed everything, but it's also kind of changed nothing, right? Because coaches exist to compress time, and coaching, all these kind of words, the semantics matter, but you can get caught up in them. And at a basic level, you have multiple processes to follow to help a client get a result. But results are always relative, depending on where the client starts, depending on the conditions, depending on what they have, their beliefs, their mindset, their resources, then the inputs that a client has are very, very different. Some people come to you with lots of time and no money, and some people come to you with lots of money and no time, and all these different variables, right? Using AI, we can drastically improve 3 conditions, and these are the only ones we need to focus on. There's speed, there's the input, and then there's the output. So this is the simple equation. How do I give tools to clients that make them go faster? It's a thought exercise that you start with. How do I give them the right inputs to get higher quality results faster? And how do I give them the highest quality, consistent outputs that will generate the best results from them? So AI tools give clients speed on completing the tasks that are required in the process. The tools, if they're trained properly, will give clients high quality inputs and consistent output. So the first equation we focus on is speed, right? To build the right tools to achieve superior output and results, we must map our process. And a simplified process of the sovereign system is this: create a hybrid offer, document that offer in a Google Doc, validate that offer with a campaign that sells that offer, communication that goes out to prospects to turn them into customers and clients. Once we have completed that process, we sell offers via workshops. Once we have completed that process and we continue to repeat that process, we generate leads with the Daily Client Machine, and then we create content and campaigns to sell offers to leads. Different processes that run over different time periods. Creating a hybrid offer, you do it once and then you iterate it. Creating a cash campaign, you do it once and then you improve it. Workshops, you repeat the process, you get better at the process. The Daily Client Machine, you build it once, but you optimize it to repeat the process. Content these days is a never-ending repeated process. All just processes to get to a result. And as you know, because everybody here is at a different stage and has got different results from different processes there, they achieve very different results depending on the inputs that the client has and the outputs that they ultimately get. And so the steps that we have in our process should be relatively straightforward to map when we are clear on our client avatar and the direction that we take people. If you do that process properly, that process will take somebody from 3K by validating their offer, 3K a week by using workshops, and 3K a day via the Daily Client Machine. So 2 processes to start, and then 3 processes that are run and optimized over and over again. So you have a process. You probably have multiple processes, and that could be one of the biggest challenges for most people, is that they have too many processes to run. And when we're looking at efficiency, it highlights maybe that there is a lack of process, or there is an excessive amount of process, or a confusing amount of processes that you are asking clients to do, and that flows through to everything. So we now have a process map if we map those steps step by step. And the simplest way to look at this is build a tool for each step of the process. And then we have a tool map. So for SoloOS users, which the majority of you are, at the beginning, we map the avatar and the hybrid offer. The ideal client extractor gets you focused on who the avatar is. It also takes the inputs that you have, and then it creates an offer via the offer printer. You want a campaign, use the Cash Campaign Creator. You want a workshop, use the workshop launcher. You want to create a daily client machine or optimize the current one, use the daily client machine. Create content and campaigns to sell offers and leads, the daily content machine. Map the process, map the tools. It's as simple as that, as long as you're clear about your process and your process is simple. And we can talk in the Q&A about defining the word process and choosing it as well. Here's the important part where it gets into user experience, right? And each process is condensed into a single output tool. I did a game plan for someone the other day. They had over 40 AI tools that they gave their clients, and their clients were more lost than before when they didn't have any tools at all because they didn't know which each one did. And the person had turned into a customer service rep for his AI tools because he had to tell people exactly which one to use all the time. And it was a very, very poor user experience. So this is the way I think about it. Map the process, map the tools, and embrace the fact that some tools are used very infrequently. Do the ideal client extractor, maybe the hybrid offer, maybe quarterly, some monthly or weekly, and some can be used daily. Having tools that are single use dramatically improves the user experience because the client is always likely to choose the right tool because they do what they say on the tin. Well, the offer printer, what does it do? It prints you an offer, right? There's a full stop after it, right? The daily content machine, daily client machine, same thing. Having tools that clients can use every day dramatically improves experience and client retention. The churn, when I ran membership offers, which I've done for close to a decade, I've had a membership offer live. They would churn annually at anywhere from 20 to 80%, depending on the market, the price, and those things. We had our first cancellation, in SoloOS 2 days ago for 60 days, right? People aren't leaving because they've got tools that they're using every single day, right? So think about process and then think about the tools that map it, but also think about the frequency of the process that you're asking people to run, right? And we can unpack that later on again. Definitive statement: every coach should have a virtual version of them. I've got Sovereign JK. I'm changing its name, by the way, to Virtual JK because it's just easier and I'm not being cute anymore. I'll still be cute, but just not with naming stuff. It's not going to be optional. When I released the Sovereign Consultant book, I had at least, I remember, 4 people who reached out to me and said that they'd uploaded the book to ChatGPT or other and said, I've built an AI version of you. And I was like, shit, if I don't do something, I'm going to be competing with myself in the future, because if you don't do it, literally someone else will create one based on your public data anyway. On average, I coach 73 people a day, which is a wild thing to say, but it's true. So that is 30 days activity on the Sovereign JK tool. It had 40,793 messages. It had 2,220 individual conversations. And the average message and conversation is 18. I don't know what that turns into time. A lot, right? And the other behind the scenes kind of insight that I've got for you, in many cases, the virtual you can help clients in ways that the real you is unable to, just by the nature of the way that people are choosing to interact with AI. If you're in any kind of personal development, life coaching, anything that has, especially if you're in coaching related to anything that's traumatic or difficult, AI will fundamentally change the way that you can interact with clients and also help them. People will say things to AI because they feel it's safer than they will say to you, even as a trusted advisor or a coach, right? And I have heard this and seen it on multiple times. But that is, one of the feedback I was thinking is I honestly think it's better than getting it one-on-one from you in some cases. I'd be embarrassed to go into this much depth and nuanced detail on a consulting call. I've heard 20 variations of that to me and in different contexts where people will prefer to use AI tools over talking to you in certain circumstances. And rather than deny that and pretend it's not happening or feel threatened by it, we should embrace it to help people in ways that maybe we can't in this kind of, judgmental society that we live in. So the second and third, pieces of the AI tool equation in terms of delivery is inputs and outputs. And as I've gone along, I've realized that there's a much more nuanced and deep kind of idea of prompting, right? When we ask a client to follow a process, there are two variables that dictate the results. There's inputs and outputs. And prompting isn't just for AI tools. People talk about prompts in the context of AI tools because the prompt trains the machine. But we can also train the human on the other side of it to input things more consistently so the machine gets more structured data and subsequently gets better outputs. With AI, we can't control what people say to it, but we can shape it by prompting them, right? So a couple of examples here. When you open the hybrid offer printer, it starts with a prompt. It doesn't say, let's make an offer. It says, let's create an offer that gets prospects replying with I'm in without having to convince anyone. It pulls memory, it pulls from data it pulls from a previous conversation I've had, and it steers somebody into being specific about what kind of offer they're creating, right? It doesn't say we're making an offer, but it steers them towards a simple idea. Do you want a membership offer, a community offer, consulting service, product, course, or workshop? So it starts to narrow down the type of inputs that people can have so we can get much more structure and consistent inputs so we can produce more consistent outputs. And the same with the daily content machine. If I just left it to everyone's own devices, they wouldn't know what to ask it, because we get this from clients on a regular basis. I've got a question, but I don't know how to ask it. Or definitive statements, which is, with content, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to write about. So I use the daily content machine to prompt people, what happened this week that's worth turning into content? Give me something real, a client win, a breakthrough you had, or even something that went sideways that your $1 million business owner prospects need to hear about, right? So I'm starting to prompt people to ask them questions so they can get stimulation to input things like a client win, a breakthrough you had, or even something that didn't go well, so it can turn it into content. So this is very simple. It's just, how would you extract and coach someone to get a result, right? And so when we're building tools, we think about what are the initial conditions that we're putting the client under, so they get asked the best questions and they give the best answers that are valuable to them. We then combine it with every input the client has made into AI tools. Now and in the future, the moat will be memory. AI never forgets. So inside SoloOS, it remembers every input you make. And so you don't have to remember it in the future, and it's more consistent, right? So it remembers everything. When we're using machines to remember everything, it improves experience because you're not repeating yourself endlessly, which is subject to error. And subject to error means overthinking or being overstimulated in the course of trying to do something, because you're constantly changing the inputs, because you're constantly changing the goals. Every memory is stored and forms context for the output the client's looking to create. And I think we just need to ask a simple question. Would a client rather work with a coach who remembers every single thing so they don't have to repeat themselves endlessly, or someone who needs to be told repeatedly exactly what is going on, and rather than remember it, because memory is the mode. We use the tool to prompt the client, but the tool has its own prompts to shape the output. So this is the back end of the hybrid offer printer. We have the instructions that the tool uses, and then we have the training documents that the tool references to get consistent output. So there's two factors that, dictate the output. There's the prompt, which is in the context of this instructions, and there's the training data, which it's fed into. The higher quality questions, the higher quality inputs, and the higher quality of the prompt, plus the higher quality of the data, gives the best results. Obviously, this isn't easy because you need two things. You need to know how to prompt it, but you also need good quality input. The prompt alone in that is 1,985 words. It's a long article or a small book, right? Because it has a lot of parameters there to get the result. The training data is 400 pages of offers that have sold over $100 million in total sales. My moat is that, right? I'm the only person who has that because I was involved. I created them. They're mine, or I helped other people create them. And my IP moat is that I have $100 million worth of documented offers that I can train a tool on, right? And everybody has their own, their own alpha, their own edge in that space. If you have the best data and you have the best prompt, you will have the best tool when you combine it with the best inputs. And so the equation is speed plus input plus output. So master those and you can help more clients at scale, win faster with less stress, and also make them never want to leave your world, because you are the fastest, most convenient, most enjoyable as well. I think it's important to give these tools some kind of humanity and personality along the way. And it's been an utter game changer in the way that I can serve people, interact with clients, and also deliver speed of result. So in summary, if we're looking at AI delivery, map your process. And again, in the Q&A, we can go through this individually or clear up any confusion or nuance. Map your process, define your tools, define your inputs, use a platform with memory. It's essential you have a platform with memory, otherwise you're going to get inconsistent outputs, or your platform will become annoying to use because it will ask the same questions over and over again. Define and consistently train your prompts, your tools, and feed it with the highest quality data. As an aside, my first AI tool thought I was Australian. It kept talking about g'day and mate and all this kind of stuff. So we had to un-Australia-fy it, right? Because I'm not from Australia. And nothing against Australians, but I don't talk like one. So we've got to give it the right voice, and we've got to train it, along those lines. I'll say it again, coaches exist to compress time. Every single person who I've ever coached would have got the result anyway. It would have just taken them a lot longer without me, and I stand by and maintain that. We need to be the shortcut. And people get results by following processes and applying their own unique inputs. So every client is different, which is hugely beneficial in the face of competition, but every process benefits from being the same. And at a simple level, some processes the client must go through themselves. I can't change your beliefs, but I can ask you questions that make you change your own beliefs over time that may benefit you, right? Some processes you can guide the client through. There is a skill transfer, in my world that I want to undertake with clients so they don't need me. I want clients to know how to write copy. I want clients to know how to create ads. I want clients to know why the underlying things work so they can actually take those skills themselves rather than being dependent on an outside source. And there are some processes you can do for clients. Almost anything to do with digital marketing are processes that people don't need to have the skill for. Knowing how to build a funnel isn't a high value skill. Knowing which buttons to press inside technology isn't a high value skill. And in many cases, people can afford to ignore them, delegate them, or outsource them because there are much, much higher value skills that they can attain along the way. It's always been this way, but AI allows us to rethink how we enable clients to get results through us, right? And as always, that distinction between product and offers is extremely useful. So everybody should have a product map, right? From the least scalable thing that they do or are prepared to do down to the most scalable. And scalable is time and energy required to deliver a result for someone on the other side. So the least scalable thing we can do in the coaching world is one-to-one or done for you services. They require time on the tools. Are less scalable, but still scalable, kind of thing, are live events because of the logistics of them. Group calls are very scalable, but they have upper limits. Virtual workshops are even more scalable because you can have more people, asynchronously talking to. Communities are really scalable. Tools are very scalable. Training is very, 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 very scalable because we can sell and give access to the same piece of media over and over and over again with no degradation or loss. We just have a very low cost of distribution. So I've put mine on the right-hand side of there. I do one-to-one with 28 people. I have done for you services now with a white label of SoloOS. I have 6 to 8 events a year, both at my house and overseas. I get on Zoom twice a week with people in the society. I do 2 monthly workshops. I have 3 full courses and 46 trainings inside SoloOS alongside the tools and the training. We can make offers relative to the amount of effort and investment you and the client require. And AI opens up the opportunity to dramatically simplify our offer stack into 3 tiers. The 3 tiers that we used before kind of had unclear relationships about what was in or out of each tier. I've had a lot of conversations with people going, what do I get in that one that I don't get in that one? And what's the advantage of that one that I don't get in that one? With AI, we can just collapse everything into simple designations. Done for you, done with you, or do it yourself. Done for you is you, your tools, and your team do most of the process. The client does a few. Done with you is you, your tools, and your team do some of the process. The client does some of the process. And do it yourself is the client does most of the process with a little help from you, your tools, and your team. And to clarify what done for means is much more accurately think for, right? Because what a client is actually paying you to do and done for you services is just to think for them, right? You're asking for a small number of inputs, but you're making the decisions on what the actual outcomes and the things that are built and ultimately the results on the other side of it. If someone asks you to build a funnel for them, for example, as a done for you product, you have a predefined, this funnel has 8 pages and 3 upsells, and these are the prices and those things. I need your words, and I need your positioning, and I need your brand, and I'm going to put it over the top, right? So you define the whole thing, but the client's got a small input in doing it. And AI tools and platforms injected into every area of your delivery are exponential. While some can get a good result using the offer printer, and we will increase the quality of the results over time as it gets better and gets trained, someone can get a significantly better result using the offer printer and having access to my coaching because I know context the AI doesn't, right? This is where some coaches will be replaced by AI, and some will make very close friends with it because they actually have the human factor, which is the nuance. AI has 10 years of data. That's, the offer printer. I have 10 years of experience. I know how those offers are perceived and received and how humans behave towards those offers in the marketplace, which is what defines the results. So when I look at coaching, AI as the thinking machine, it just churns through outputs. It just, makes stuff. But the human coach is the nuance machine. So when we both deliver and sell AI, we're putting it around us and into processes in between us and places that capture the thinking and the execution while you provide the nuance, right? And under a 3-tier model, the client is choosing how much decision load they're bearing themselves. And mine's like very simple. If you want to do it yourself with a little bit of help, you're in Solo OS. If you want to do it together with much more help, then you're in the Society. If you wanted me to do most of it for you, then you're investing in a white label done for you and some one-to-one, right? And so what we find and what I found is that when presented with the kind of 3 paths, then it's much clearer what a client gets and what they're actually sacrificing relative to time, investment, and their thinking. And so with AI, we can have a very, very simple conversion equation. Give them a plan, show them the path, you'll get a client. And in a tangible place, and we now have a tool that does this that will be launched when we launch the next iteration of Solo OS. We map the plan. We can give everybody a custom plan to build a sovereign system and have, $1 million business. Literally a plan like on a page. Build them a plan, confirm they want help, and show them the 3 paths. I say this: which path would you like to take? Done for you, I'll build the system and I'll make a guarantee. Done with you, I'll give you the playbooks and then, hold your hand to do it. Or you do it yourself, I'll give you my tools, material, and advice. When presented in a context of, asking someone, do you want some help with that? And these are the 3 paths. It's the most low pressure, easy selling that I've ever done. It's like, here's the plan. Do you agree that you want to do the plan? Which path would you like to take? And then I make them an offer relative to the path they choose. Do you want to invest more, which means less thinking, more help, go faster? Do you want to invest some, which means some thinking, plenty of help? Or do you just want to grind away and do it yourself, right? No judgment, just choose the path. Then we make them an offer. And so when we have this like thinking about, that coaches can be done for you, coaches can be done with you, and coaches can offer DIY, it simplifies a heck of a lot of the conversion process. And it also simplifies a heck of a lot of the delivery process, but it also opens up our opportunities in our acquisition because we can move the free line, right? So up until now, coaches had to create content to generate leads. Content creates context for who the coach serves, how they solve the problems, and the processes they use. And content is free. We expect it to be free. That's how it gets consumed. And the freeliners consistently move outwards to the point that we have stuff on YouTube today that was behind a paywall not that long ago, right? And when I started in marketing, about the most content that you would give away might be a free lead magnet and a few emails around it. That's all the free content that you had to make and you would ever make. And then someone invented this thing called content marketing, and HubSpot and those people jumped on the bandwagon of like, you need to make a lot of content. And so this arms race of content happened where people create more and more free content to give away to attract more people. And that provides a competitive landscape because coaches who don't create any free content are invisible, and coaches who have to create a lot of free content are usually pretty stressed out. A lot of coaches spend more time creating content than coaching. I would say in some categories of business coaching, fitness coaching, etc., it's not even close that they spend more time creating content and marketing than they actually do coaching. So coaches have largely been forced to become marketers because of the content arms race. Yet It's always been ironic to me. Coaches have vast amounts of content locked away. I don't work that many hours, but even in an average week, I could create 5 to 6 hours of coaching content by just coaching people, right? On Zoom, I'm creating 5 to 6 hours of content every single week. And we call those courses, we call them calls, we call them trainings and programs. And the acceleration of these things will have an interesting weeding out effect of those who don't have real quality knowledge or experience. Said in a much more blunt way, if you don't know your shit and you can't actually present anything to save your life, you're in deep trouble in the marketplace we're in and the marketplace that's coming up, because you will get found out, because we are being forced to give away more and more content to command attention of the marketplace to have a hope of getting customers and clients. And we can either lament that or just embrace it. So the strategy that I'm doing is I'm giving everything away. And everything, I mean my content. So I'm going to move the free line and I'm going to give away all my courses and use them to create leads, right? I have over 500 hours of recorded structured courses and trainings available to do that. I'm going to get my prospects to consume my courses because my courses are good. And then I'm going to have my virtual tool sitting there, guiding them through the courses, selling them on taking the next step. So I'm going to give away my courses, and I've started this now. I'm just waiting for the new version of this to roll out. And we've trained what is now Sovereign JK, but Virtual JK, to upsell people from the courses into a SoloOS membership. So Solo, I can send someone a training on the hybrid offer. Sovereign JK will guide them through it. But when they come to creating the offer, we'll have a much better option to do, which is use the hybrid offer printer, which requires a subscription. On the SoloOS board, look for hybrid offer printer at the top. If it's there, you're good to go. If not, that's a signal to move up a tier. It starts a sales conversation. So when we give away our content in controlled environments like we can do, can actually use the tools that we have while helping people to also guide them forward and maybe take the next steps into becoming customers or ultimately becoming clients. So again, this isn't the future, it's the present. And this isn't, hey, talk to my AI sales bot. This is actually guiding people towards a result and asking them the most effective question in coaching and consulting. Do you want some help with that? And giving them the option to move forward. Strategy 2, and I covered this in much more detail in the other week's low ticket consulting. Give them a plan. It's no longer enough to tell people you can help them. You got to prove you can help them. And this is where we can inject AI into a process and an experience, as I see it, to actually help people win earlier and faster and more accessibly. So the strategy is very, very straightforward. Give them a plan. So sell $100 to $500 consulting engagements where you give prospects an asset and a plan. When they have the plan they like, show them the 3 different ways they can work with you to achieve it. Get more leads, turn them into people who buy a plan from you, and inject AI along the way. So what I do with my game plans is someone signs up for a game plan, and then I give them immediate access to the ideal client extractor and the hybrid offer printer. So I give them an asset that's custom to them. And what happens by the time that person jumps on Zoom with me is they have a couple of things that are completely custom to them. They have an offer and they have a very clear idea of their client avatar. Then I take those custom elements and give them a plan for them. I say, this is how you can use them. This is how you can sell them. Because those outputs from the AI tools are specific to them, they feel a sense of ownership. They feel a sense of excitement about those things and a sense of potential. And when I show how those things fit into a plan that actually works for them and their goals, then the natural path is, do you want some help with that? right? And that's the most natural sales question that, I've ever found. Uncover what someone wants, show them a path towards something that they desire, demonstrate that you can solve a problem that they find extremely painful and get them to agree that that is their priority to solve that problem, and ask them the $100 million question, do you want some help with that? And then show them the path, show them the offer, and off you go. And a number of people in the society who got, I gave them access to the things I gave in the workshop much earlier than everyone else, are rocking through that strategy, signing up people into game plan calls, giving them a plan, and actually getting a much deeper understanding of the messaging and the things they've been putting out there by actively talking to clients and giving them a plan. So AI moves the free line and the value equation significantly, because we can now practically and pragmatically give away more at the top of the funnel. And rather than, fighting against the arms race of more and more free content, we can actually put more and more useful content out to the market in the shape of our intellectual property, our courses, our trainings, and our programs. It also opens the door, and I've said for a long time that demonstration and showing is much better than, marketing and advertising. Direct demonstration is now more meaningful and impactful as the tools that have real utility over just media. I, for a number of years, have only been able to talk about selling from Google Docs and maybe typing some things in real time and those things, but they don't make for very entertaining or interesting demonstrations. Watching a guy type into a Google Doc is not the most exciting YouTube content that anyone's ever made in the history of YouTube. But a 6-minute video showing people exactly a magic trick of how they can actually get results very quickly is much more interesting and entertaining and much higher converting, because it's real time and real demonstration in front of people. So it's not only moved the free line, we've moved the timeline in the course of what can be demonstrated, because we can actually show our ideas, our theories, our intellectual property playing out in front of someone in a time frame that's much more conducive to get someone to paying attention. And so there will be a slither of people who become, the software tycoons and the media magnets they were always destined to be, as you have the opportunity right now to create a true platform for expertise, experience, and insight. So I was relatively, like a lot of things, I'm slow and careful to decide, and I'm unbelievably fast to execute on. I was relatively slow to AI. I spent a lot of time talking to people, seeing how people were using it, watching things that I disagreed with happening, and defining my own thesis about how AI, how the tools applied to me, how they applied to my work, how they applied to my interaction with clients, and ultimately how they applied to my product and offers. So in September, we held the soft launch of SoloOS. We were 4 months into providing AI tools for clients, but we had the platform was now to the point where I knew it could handle more users than, say the 100 people that were using it for a period of time. And my goal with that was just to get a critical mass of users and also establish a price in the market for an AI coaching platform, as I didn't really have anything to compare it with. Excuse me. The fact was that every tool I looked at and everything I was shown, were variants of kind of what I was doing, but I was thinking about a much bigger picture, which was, a complete platform that I could deliver coaching, consulting, intellectual property, etc. on, and actually build off. And I know at a launch, I can make offers that will never be repeated. So I can do kind of silly offers. I can price and do bonuses that I wouldn't normally add. And the SoloOS lifetime was like definitely in the category of a stupid offer, right? But I've found that's worked extremely well for me over the years, because I do very, very well with early adopters. They work well in my world, they work well in my culture, and they work well with me. I despise slowness and indecisiveness. And lots of people who dress that up as like, I'm careful and cautious, are just slow and indecisive. So I've found that crafting things culturally in terms of in my world and in my offers with, and rewarding that has done very well for me over time. And I can do offers at a launch that I know that I just can't repeat later because it doesn't make sense. It devalues things that I've done before, or it's just not economically viable. And this is very much in that category because with what we're doing with SoloOS, I will probably lose money over the lifetime of the people who bought the lifetime offer because they'll probably use so many tokens inside the AI tool that it will cost me $5,000 anyway. So I offered a founder's lifetime for $5,000 and I had 15. I had a founder's annual for $3,000 and I capped it at 50. And then I had the founders weekly at 58 per week. I'm still finding the price in the market. At $58, we have no churn. The signups are easy. The test drive and those kind of conversions are there. So I started there, and now I have to march the price up to reflect the investment we're making in the platform. The lifetime sold out in a few days. The annual sold out. I don't know the exact number. It was about 26 or 27 of them, and 73 people got the weekly. So I staggered the launch. So I launched lifetime first, which is a good idea. Then once they were gone, I launched the annual, which is another good idea. And then once they were gone, I launched the weekly. If you launch something and you take those three categories, lifetime, annual, and weekly, do that. Stagger each one. So offer the highest price first, then have with the most scarcity, then have the mid-price one, if you like, next, which has less scarcity, but probably a lower price, which gets higher velocity, and then offer a pay plan where you get the volume. So that did over 200K in cash collected, and it added a very, very healthy amount of recurring revenue. I did eventually offer a pay plan for the annual, which obviously contributes to the recurring revenue, but it was over a shorter time period than 52 weeks. 80% of lifetime offers went to existing clients. So I see lifetime offers as kind of, I want to say a reward mechanism if you want to look at it like that, but it definitely is taken up more actively by people who know you, who are prepared to probably, be there for the longer term, and that those lifetime offers always go to a higher cohort of existing people. Where I gained people was in the weekly, because 80% of the founders weekly went to new clients, predominantly because most clients already had some level of membership on SoloOS, so there wasn't really anything outside that. But I also saw a lot of people go from a weekly to an annual, or a weekly to a lifetime, and locking in those pieces. Launches are a unique thing. The lifetime included one-on-one call and one Bali blueprint, right? And so I can't do that very often. I only have so much space for one-to-one, and I have only so much space at the now it's the villa next door. But I only have so much space to fit people in. So giving away those kind of bonuses is going to be a very, very rare thing. And when you launch, push the boat out. Like make offers that people almost feel guilty for buying because they feel like they're kind of ripping you off. And I had various, statements and sentiments around those. So how do you become an AI assisted coach? Well, first you map your process. And then once you've got your process, you look at the tools that fit to that. Then you look at, okay, how do I build those tools and what tools can I take? And then you look at, okay, how do I package the offers on the other side of it? So the most common question that I've been asked over the past 2 months is like, how do I make AI tools for my coaching? How do I build something that you've got, etc.? I solved one thing by spending a fortune on refactoring the platform that we built on so we can offer white labels, which are well underway. A couple of you here we're building them, for you right now. And then I thought, well, we can probably do more than that. Why don't I give people my AI tools? So in January, I'm doing just that. So SoloOS 1.1 is coming in January. The banner headline is that I'm going to give you my AI tools to use, right? So that will be in the navigation. You'll have, ignore the test stuff. This is very raw from a beta. You'll have my tools, the hybrid offer printer, the daily client machine, the daily content machine, and a couple of new tools there as well. Then you can have your own one. So you can create an AI tool inside SoloOS using pre-built parameters and outputs. If you want one that outputs, say, the offer printer, have an output into a Google Doc, I'll give you that. So use case as an example, I can see Michael in there, so I'm going to say to him, Michael can give his clients, the perfect sales script, and he can have the perfect sales script AI tool. He can build that using the underpinnings of the offer printer. That would print out a sales script into a Google Doc, and he can give that to clients. You will then have a share link that you can sign people up. So you could use that to generate leads. You could sell that as a product because you have full access control. Or you could give it to clients, or probably all of the above, right? You could use your virtual tool as a lead generation thing. I'll coach you for free and send people to the virtual tool. You could sell, your script or your offer printer or your document printer or whatever you come up with, and I'll help you come up with it and actually use it as a tool, have it protected, be able to have user rights, so you could give people and take away, and also have different levels. So you could have, some people who are paying for your tools, some people who are free, and some tools that are clients only. So at launch, we're going to give you the ability to create 2 tools. And then after we've kind of understood what the parameters and the cost, because I'm going to pay for the tokens, then we'll expand that as much as we can based on, fair use. And then if you want many more tools, we may have the option just for you to upgrade to do that. So rather than everyone asking me, do I build on ChatGPT? Do I go there? Do I do it? I just decided to build them for you, and you can use my tools and become an AI assisted coach. We're also integrating the tools at every level. So the upgraded courses memory and tool handoff means that everything is smarter and the right tool at the right time. At a practical level, what this means is that the tools can interact with each other, right? So you're going through the hybrid offer printer, and then you've output your offer. The hybrid offer printer then says, I'm going to introduce you to the cash campaign creator, and it's going to create a cash campaign for you to sell this hybrid offer. And they're going to talk to each other, and it's going to hand over the offer, and you'll get a cash campaign out the back of that. So the tools will start to string themselves together. So you put your client avatar there, and it hands you off to the hybrid offer printer to make the offer for it, which hands you off to the cash campaign creator, which creates a campaign for it, which hands you off to the daily content machine, which gives you content to launch that. So as we integrate the tools, essentially the tools will guide you forward and coach you on the steps. And then obviously, me and the other humans will be around that as well. So all that is coming in January. If you've got a SoloOS membership, it's all included at the standard membership. And obviously, guys in the society are getting that, and our white label clients are getting that as well. So it's going to be fun. And I got a couple of things that won't come in January, but I will, I'll tell you about them later. Let's just say that I want SoloOS to be a true all-in-one. I don't want you to use that Go High Level and the funnels clicker and the click funnels and all those things. I'd rather just build those things for you and make it easier for you to deploy stuff. Questions? I know, Michael, you're a terrible example, but you don't do that kind of thing.
Hey, James.
Hey, man.
Yeah, I got a couple of questions for you. Good morning, everybody. So as you know, James, I'm brand new to the coaching thing, and I've been building out, writing some courses, which will go into programs and different things we've talked about before. And the sort of tools that I'm putting together, there's lots of spreadsheets, right? So it's a lot of number crunching for people and things like that. But what I want to get from that is somehow get that to spit out a roadmap for people. So taking the data from the sheets, I think it's worth them having physical sheets because it's something that they'll implement into their business and do ongoing. But I'd love for them to, after they do the initial run through, they got all their sheets, put it into something that can then spit out a plan taking the key data from multiple sheets. How the hell do I do that? Where would you even start? Like what sort of tool?
Oh,
Uh,
that's really straightforward.
okay, good. How?
Oh, I'm not here to tell you how.
Right.
It's not a how to build your AI tool day to day.
Uh,
I would question your thesis that you need to give people sheets, right? Just like I would question anyone's thesis that they're going to sell people CRMs that are just a gigantic list of things. People want inputs and outputs. Um, the sheets are just a collection of data, and AI is best seen as an interface, right? So you can build a tool which sits over, and any of the platforms will allow you to do this, which sits over the top of a sheet, which essentially just maps the different components and then has an outcome. I mean, if I go to oh, it's gone. It's over here now. This feedback form, right, is an interface for a sheet. This feedback form inside SolOS goes inside a Google Sheet, and then Claude, which is another AI tool, looks at that Google Sheet and says, can I fix that issue and go and fix the code myself? So our tool is self-healing and self-building. If it finds an error in something, then it will go and self-build. So you're essentially just mapping and stringing things together.
okay. I like the idea of, I did question whether I use sheets or not. The only thing that I was thinking, the reason for it was that repetition of using it. I want people to keep coming back to these sheets and updating with the most relevant data in their business and stuff like that.
Yeah, but is that a fun process? Like, who likes
No,
a spreadsheet?
no, it's fucking boring, but it's helpful.
Yeah, but our job is to give people a better experience so they do things that help themselves, right?
Hmm. Okay.
You know, they invented creatine gummies because creatine tastes like shit. And so creatine gummies like help people take creatine. Turns out they've got no creatine in them anyway, but that's just the bullshit nature of these things. But you know, the there's a big difference between a dashboard that a client goes through every day and says, what were your stats yesterday? Or I'm pulling this from Shopify, or I'm pulling this from Zero, and hey, this was the summary of yesterday, right? And hey, go to my spreadsheet and put your numbers in, guys.
Hmm.
Like we need to think like choreographers. How do you choreograph the activities for clients so they do things that are good for them, but they suck? Because we are in the business of change, right? And for change, people need to take on habits or take actions that they don't currently do, because if they did them, they probably would have the result they actually want. And so I see a massive part of that as us designing the experience around it. And so I would build a tool that grabs data from Shopify at 8 o'clock every morning and says, hey, you had a record sales day yesterday, and spits it out. What are your goals for today? These are the inputs you need to take, and here's your task list to do it. Right.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, no, no, got it. I got it. I felt as I've been putting it together, I've been bored out of my mind with it, going, fuck, I hate this stuff, but I know it's helpful. Anyway, yeah, I got the point. Second
Yeah,
question.
that's really valid, but we can reimagine how people interact with things. And
Okay.
the shift for me was I realized that AI in the early days, AI was a user interface. That's when I first saw my kids using it, I was like, oh, they're using it because it's a user interface and they know what chat is. And the reason that ChatGPT is so massive is because everybody knows how to chat with something on the internet. And so it was available to everybody. And so as people who help people change, we need to think about the best user interface for them to do that, right? One of the major reasons that people don't build funnels and things like that. It's not that they don't know how to do it or that they think they don't work, etc. Is as soon as they get to the funnel builder, as soon as they get to the ClickFunnels interface and they go, oh my God, what color should that button be? Their brain explodes and they just want to bail out and they go, I'm not good with technology. And they start telling all these stories, right?
Yeah.
But now we can actually just we can get people to opt out of crappy experiences while still actually doing the underlying thing that actually moves the needle.
Okay. No, that's helpful. Thank you. I'll rethink how I'm doing it. Second question, if you don't mind, is another, brand new to this question, which is to create a virtual me without a decade full of stuff you can feed it like you have. Where do you start there? Like, can you still get a virtual me going? You know, how?
Yeah, I mean, the one of the most available to everyone, if you use Notebook LM, which is a Google product, and you go there and you upload anything you've got, upload a document or a YouTube video or anything like that, and watch it spit out a summary. Right? If that document is yours, then that summary and that tool that you're querying, you're basically talking to yourself. So it just needs a little bit of structured data. I realized that I was going to have to if I didn't build one, I was going to compete with myself when someone reached out to me and actually put my whole book into Notebook LM, and then they said, I'm using it to be coached by you every day from a 100-page book, right?
Yeah.
And so you just need a little bit of data to feed into something because they're just looking for contextual and structured answers.
Could you use the course content as a starting point? Because I guess that's kind of my initial data dump of everything that I feel I'm going to help people with initially. So I guess you can use that as a starting point.
Yeah, just
Okay.
build. I saw Jeremy Haynes talking the other day that at the end of every day, one of his team pulls everything from WhatsApp, Slack, his email, every correspondence he's had, and uploads it to their tool.
That's cool.
And this will be the nature of things, right? Why lock? I have lots of really valuable private WhatsApp conversations every single day with people. That doesn't need to be locked up in there because now we can put it into a tool and actually maintain privacy and maintain all the things that are still valuable for somebody, but use the insights and the knowledge that's locked away in places, if you like. So
cool.
That will be the nature of things.
Awesome. Thank you.
James, I just want to ask you, um, have you actually built your own large language model? You're not using Gemini or anything like that?
No, we're using Claude and
Yeah,
Grok.
Okay. So you're
No, I'm not building any data centers or anything crazy yet, really.
no, I, James, I'm not that techie, so I don't even understand that. But one of the things I'm going to ask is, you're talking about this white label. Is that only for your exclusive group that you can do that for, or what?
I've just invited some people. We're doing 5 of them to start, and we'll open up some more spots next year.
Okay.
It's for someone who's got an audience right now and wants to bolt it on, really, rather than someone starting from scratch, to be honest.
Oh, okay.
That's who it's going to benefit. But we'll have different options next year for people who want the platform as well.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I remember you earlier on, you were pretty much against AI. I remember that way back. And then, a lot of times I'll use ChatGPT, but it's absolutely amazing. It's acted like a lawyer for me because I've got a problem going on with the local council, and
Wonderful. I don't want to hear about it.
given me as if I was engaging a lawyer, and it's given me what to send them. Because
I don't need you to sell me on AI, Julie. Thank you.
Thanks.
Steve. Can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yep. Fucking thing.
Yeah, can hear you.
Oh, sorry. Thank you for that. Yeah, so I've got 20 odd years of fitness programs, workouts, that I've got in ebooks, content, like how to warm up, all that stuff, right? My aim would be to create a library, Gymflix, for example, where you go and pick a workout or program off the shelf. Do you foresee this AI training tool to be something like that?
Yeah. I mean, you'd use this tool in SoloOS. You just do that.
Yeah.
Put them into PDFs, upload it. I need a fat loss workout for this week. Give me one, and I'll pull one for. Or I need a 4-week program to do this, or a 6-week program to do that.
Yeah.
ChatGPT already does it really well.
Yeah, it does. But then I want to give people that tool, to license to use that brain.
Yeah. So you'll be able to do that in January inside SoloOS. Just upload it. I'll give you the parameters, and you'll have your own virtual Steve.
I think that's what I want to. Well, I do want to do that. That'd be awesome.
So, like a fitness coach, like there's so many ways to skin it, and we'll work out the best ways for individuals. But you could have virtual you, right, coach. Then you're going to have a training tool and a nutrition tool, for example.
Yeah, like with Mad Muscles. I don't know if you've heard of that, but you can go and get a program off the shelf, and they'll charge $6 for the first 2 weeks, and then $30 USD a month after that if you don't unsubscribe. But I was thinking about having that as a tool in my basic membership, standard membership in school, for $19 a month or whatever the low end price is, as a way to offer a service inside of tools.
Yeah.
And they can upgrade into premium to get access to the app, which is the program dumped into the app where they don't have to think about it. Yeah.
I always think in client tools, and releasing tools like clients first. If you've got a client base, you should be releasing the tools first to understand usage, understand value, and understand the positioning of it before you try and sell them. There's very, very, very few people that can just go to the market unless they've got a really, really big brand and say, I've got a brand new tool and everyone should buy it. They're challenging to sell. So you need first user proof and a story to go to before you go to the market. Like the guys we're doing the white label launch with, it'll be an internal launch. We'll get their clients to buy, and then we'll go and open the founders, and then we'll go to the market, etc. So you go in the stages, but you can move through those stages really quick.
Yeah, so that's in January.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks, mate. Good session.
Who's that? Kareem?
Hey, mate, I've got 2 questions. One of them is about your the low entry offer. The first one is, it's about that. So it's going to be geared towards executives, and another offer is going to separate offer is going to be geared towards athletes. In your offer, you've got 2. You've got $500 and you've got the $1,500, right? One is essentially like a demo thing where you can record and all that kind of thing. The other one is private. If I offer the same kind of thing where I'm like $100 and $500, I'm scared of spooking them out because these guys are like really private people. They're like, well, what's he going to do with my 100? I thought this was $100. Is he trying to trick me? I'm a private person. Should I just keep it neat and just have one offer?
No. Launch
Okay.
it with a demo and a private. There's a reason for it. It's a position.
Yeah,
Price is
because
position.
I obviously knew that there was is there a way of wording it better so they don't freak out? They're thinking, man, what's this guy doing? Is he going to send it to my boss? Is he
No,
going to
you
send it
don't.
online?
Whenever someone says I'm worried about or I'm scared to, they should just ignore it because you don't know. You just need to do it.
And just word it like that. Word it how you worded it.
Yeah,
Don't change it.
exactly.
Even with athletes.
Do exactly what I did.
All right.
Have a demo and have a private.
Okay. Cool. My other question was around the AI. So if I was to do my AI as a coach, I also put hypnosis. So I'm a coach, and then we find out what's actually, so we get to the root cause, and then we actually remove that thing using hypnosis. Would you suggest that I have recordings, generalized recordings on there for my hypnosis, or is that part of like a premium different model where they can only get that from me?
I don't know. I mean, what's the efficacy of recorded hypnosis? I don't know enough about it.
Okay. If you were
How
to
does it work?
yeah, like I mean, obviously not as good as one-on-one, right? But it just basically what I'm wanting to, because people don't really know what I do, right? They're like, so what do you do? And it's because it's not like going to a dentist or going, to an accountant. What I want to show them is a bit about what I do. So it's sort of a way for having like a miniature version of me. So they're like, aha, now I get what he's actually all about.
Sure.
And this is just another way of doing it. It's not as good as having a one-to-one with me, of course, but it creates a lot of awareness, insights, all that kind of thing. There are a lot of apps at the moment that have recorded, like hypnosis. So we'll be competing against other apps.
I'm sensing you're trying to hide the fact you use hypnosis.
I have been in the past. That's part of my problem, is because people will be like, I can't be hypnotized, and that's they go into it. So I'm possibly moving away from the word hypnosis.
That's what marketing, like the idea of marketing is to shift beliefs. If you try and hide the process, then you get all these unintended consequences, right? So the job of marketing isn't to come up with words that hide the process. It's to put the process at front and center and contextualize it to say that this actually works for these people for these reasons, right?
Even though I've been having some friction on calls and be like, well, I can't be hypnotized, and I'm not sure if I can be hypnotized.
Of course,
therefore,
you
I'm
have
not going to
friction
buy
on
the
calls
offer.
because they didn't know that hypnosis was a part of it, right? Because you don't mention it until they get on the call.
Yeah. So so you agree that I shouldn't mention it before.
You're hiding the mechanism.
So you agree that I should be hiding the mechanism to pay that $100?
No, you should
Or
be
should I
putting the
mention it in the
mechanism
offer doc?
out front and center, letting them experience the mechanism so it shifts their perception of the mechanism, probably through AI or through use this mini hypnosis to stop smoking in 10 minutes. That was an actual product, by the way.
Okay.
Doesn't Grace, what's her name? Grace Smith. Is that her name? Grace, someone help me out. Grace, somebody.
In the script?
No, it's not here. She's $1 million a year for a private hypnosis. And her only other, she's got an app. She doesn't go out there and say, oh, we don't use hypnosis around here. And they go, bang, and we actually use hypnosis, tricked you. She just says, it's hypnosis and this is what it's used for. This is what it benefits. Right.
Okay, so she owns it. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, big time.
Okay.
But do you see the perspective of if you try and get all these words that don't say the thing, which lots of people do, I need better positioning, I need better branding, and it's just fucking tell people that you use hypnosis and then show them the efficacy of it in different contexts, and then you clearly position who it's for, right?
And if it's confusing them at the start, will they pay you the $100?
If
Like
they're
if I'm,
if they've tried everything else and they're like, I'm just gonna give hypnosis a try, then they're solution aware. And solution aware people are like just before buying, right? Because they're like, okay, there's hypnosis, and then the provider aware, and like, I'm gonna choose that. People who are in pain are like, they're like, I could get a coach, I could do hypnosis, I could meditate more, I could, they're considering all the things.
right.
So if you just take the thing that you do and put it out the front, and then you contextualize it, let people experience it, clearly position who it's for by the problems it solves, because hypnosis to quit smoking is very different to hypnosis to make another $1 million next year.
Absolutely.
Two different, same mechanism, two different goals, two different people, right? One's mass market, one's not. So put the mechanism front and center, then give it context about who the mechanism is for. Then give them the experience of the mechanism, like through the tools you're talking about, and then say, okay, what's your actual goal? Should we get you a plan to do it? And then you can get access to me.
Right. Okay. Because that was one of the things that I was going to run the ads was how are we going to position it? Do I mention, or do I just give them the outcome without mentioning the mechanism of how to do it, of how we're doing it?
Or put the mechanism front and center. Otherwise, you're going to get so much resistance through the sales process. They're like, oh, what? Hypnosis?
Right. Yeah. I hear you. Cool. Nice. Also, I tried. Sorry, go on.
Tools now give people the ability, to give people a much more accelerated ability to change their own mind, right? So case in point, a number of people who bought the Client N7, which is access to the offer printer, were selling on sales calls. They all had the belief that they had to sell on sales calls and they couldn't possibly use a Google Doc to sell. My people won't buy $25,000 offers. I've heard every like objection and excuse over the years, right? So they paid $98 to get a tool, low risk way of, they thought, well, I can try it. Rather than paying me $10,000, which is a higher risk proposition to, break that belief. They use the offer printer, they try it themselves, and then they sell a couple of offers and they go, oh shit, I can sell my stuff with a Google Doc. They changed their own beliefs, right? Because I can now package a process that I needed to have a high level of trust and belief in and take it all the way to the front and say, well, if you're so certain that you can't sell off a Google Doc, why don't you try it? They did. And they changed their own belief, right? And the same can be said for hypnosis, training, nutrition, anything, right? We can now package the right way, give people, take things that were previously quite risky for them to like make a leap into, and package them up and deliver them in ways that are much less risky.
And I guess it's also a way of creating that moat for me. I'm not just like every other mindset coach. Is that what you're saying as well? That could be a benefit. It could be a feature of why they would hire someone like me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, when lots of people have access to the mechanism, you need to differentiate on a different dimension.
Mm-hmm.
When lots of people are selling coaching, like you got to be careful how you sell it. You got to sell it in a unique way. When lots of people are selling hypnosis or like fitness training, the fitness market's finding out at the moment that no one actually had a competitive advantage apart from a gigantic Instagram following.
Cool.
Man, how do I be different? Just be different. Actually be different, not like say you're different.
Nice.
The
Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
cool, man. The market maturity and market evolutions, they shake out like things that that can be faked along the way, right?
Yeah.
And so, you know, there's quite an obvious kind of swing back to like longer form content, etc., for, you know, a lot of consumption for people. And the people have realized that someone can bullshit you in a 30-second reel on Instagram, but it's much harder for them to bullshit you on a 30-minute video on YouTube, right? Just as
There's
a
no depth. Yeah.
simplistic example. And so as markets mature, people look for more sources of truth, right? And with AI, we can just go, let's try it. Here you go. It's free, or it's $5, or it's 100, or whatever. So we drastically shift the risk equation for people buying stuff, because it's like I said for a while, you know, the whole high ticket market was built on trust me, bro. You know, give me 12 grand and it will work. Trust me, bro. And that will work for very, very high authority, high influence, high confidence people, but it will only work on a portion of the market. Whereas if you give people tools or actual access to your stuff, they can sell themselves.
Cool.
Hey, Dave.
Oops. G'day, mate. Sorry I pushed the wrong button, but love to you anyway.
Love to you as well. Thank you for bringing the love.
Yeah, namaste. Hey, this is probably, I think the answer, I just want to say this out loud. I've got, looking at my processes that I've been building out over the last 12 months or so, that I've often done one-on-one, now they've been delivered in group, my brain suddenly goes, I think I can develop a chat around that, because there's, like, for example, an annual review process that guides people through 2 parts, 4 questions each, and a summary. That's just got to be done as a tool like your offer printer. Yes.
Yeah.
This is a game changer. I just got to work out how to do it, because it's like, and then, yeah. And I think what you were saying earlier is giving the community that you're building or built access to James on tap, so to speak, is also at a multiple emotional, psychological level, constantly building trust and connection with James at the same time. So it's deepening the trust and adding value, which is then possibly in some ways also giving you higher position for, if this is the AI, what would it be like to come to Bali for 3 days? Is that a little bit of the method of the madness, or is that just an outcome?
It's just a byproduct, right? It's like
it's not the intention, it's a byproduct.
It's kind of like premium pricing. There'll always be someone in the market who'll buy the most expensive thing because it's the most expensive thing. There'll always be someone in the cohort who is like, yeah, AI is nice, but people are better, right? And so I, like, personally investing and actively doing a lot more events like over the next 12 months. And for that reason, because there'll be the virtual thing and then there'll be the in-person thing, because we can't really replicate or replace that.
Yeah, that makes sense. Look, I've had a dozen or so clients from Australia at the moment, this in the last couple of months, saying it would be awesome to meet. So I just haven't met, and I thought we'd be doing something in Bali. I'm in Perth, and they said no, we just want to come to Perth. So it's like, okay, so yeah, they do the group, the one-on-one, and a little bit of virtual. We can roll that out, but there's something about a live interaction. It's just a different level.
Oh, of course. I mean, there was 12 of us in Venice, California, like, a few weeks ago, and like, you can't replicate that, right? You see breakthroughs happen because you can communicate nuance that you can't even communicate here just by spending time together. And also the interaction, in group environments, a huge amount, and plenty of people will testament to this, that they came to Bali, and the thing they remember was a conversation with, another participant in the van on the way to the beach club, right? And they were like, oh, you never know when the penny drops or when the lightning strikes or anything like that. And often it's not from the person or the guru they came to see in the first place. It's creating those kind of serendipitous moments and those collisions. And that you can only do that in person, right?
It makes sense. Look, even in the last few groups, I've done some breakout rooms, and the big feedback is put us back in the breakout rooms. We want longer,
Yeah.
They want to pick each other's brain and going, oh,
Yeah.
Okay, but it's good.
Yeah. People. I mean, we crave connection. We need it, right, in different levels.
Yeah.
And so it's
Right.
it offers massive. Just something to think about is, I didn't labor it, but one of the major outcomes of the tools that I've built is when you have a tool that people can use daily or close to semi-daily, you get so much more time on brand, right? Whereas before, someone would log into a membership or a course portal or a community once a week, and you're doing fine, like maybe twice a week. Now we have dozens, if not hundreds of people using a couple of those tools daily, right? So their time on brand has gone up by 500 or 1,000 or 2,000%. And so, Dave, your annual planning process, what's the quarterly, monthly, weekly, daily version of that, right? Because something that I'm thinking through now, because when you get into this way, you need to consider it a lot more, is we will have an iOS app, right? And an Android app, reluctantly for Android, but you can have notifications, so you can interrupt people. So at the moment, I've got passive, you need to come to my tool, but my tool knows what you're doing. It knows what you're planning. It knows what you're doing next. So I'm just working out how I integrate that into asking you. It knows that it helped Dave run a workshop last Thursday because it built everything for him and did it. Should probably check in on Friday and say, how did the workshop go? How many sales did you make? What were the follow-up? Do you need some help with crafting follow-ups to any of those? Can I coach you in real time and you say, I got 5 responses, but I'm not quite sure how to go back to them. Okay, how about you say this? So I'm just thinking that not just the one way. How do we proactively show up in people's lives in a valuable way, not in a, have you done these 94 things today? Because the app said so.
Yeah, well, you
I don't have many notifications on my phone, and so I'm very mindful of designing anything that's interruptive, right?
Yeah, well, you just answered that was going to be the third question, because that's that's passively engagement is one, but a gentle nudge, encouragement, engagement. Hey, just checking in. It's been a while, whatever it may be. I've been using Duolingo, a language app, and it's fantastic and it's very good. And I need gamifying it, but gently nudging, prompting. Hey, by the way,
Duolingo is not gentle.
Well,
you've got 900 notifications a day. It's shaming you into learning a language.
Well, okay, there we go. You've obviously dealt with it. But
I know it's
done cleverly.
My kids
you're going to lose your
it, so.
You're going to lose your streak. You're going to lose this. Just and it changes It's a emoticon. Its face goes sad. So I'm thinking, okay, there's got to be a way. So and you're all over it. You're already a few steps ahead. So that's gold. So what shall I be doing in the prep for when this is launched? Just I've got my documents. I've got my processes. Just start doing some demos for that behind the scenes so I can start loading it into an AI, or just...
Yeah, I mean, if you want an annual plan like that would map to a document generator like the offer printer, right? So that maps across pretty clearly, but you just need to have parameters, right? So output parameters, like in the offer printer, we have, the plan, the process, the pricing, etc., into the specific sections. So in an annual plan, you just reverse engineer that into prompts. Yeah. So if you've got sections or headings, then you just reverse engineer that and then you put in the prompt. But I mean, I'll give you 90-ish% of what you actually need.
But I'm thinking also just a simple one, which is essentially if there's 6 questions to take someone through, give the answer 6, give the answer, question 1, give the answers, and you can talk. At the end, it spits out the summary. That would be a fairly easy one. That would be an easy one.
It's all semantic, so it's all
yeah.
it's all back and
Well,
forth.
fantastic. Thanks, mate. Appreciate it. Very much. A bit more love.
I thought it was just much easier and more valuable for me to just give people tools rather than you work out the intricacies of how to build them.
All right. Thanks, mate.
Because there are a ton of options out there, and the things you can do are magical. If what Dan was asking before about spreadsheets and those, if you went to the average kind of AI first kind of developer, it'd be like, that's easy, I'll get it done by this afternoon kind of thing. So a lot of the stuff is like I have a lot of fun building AI because I come from wouldn't it be cool if, and someone goes, yeah, I'm pretty sure we can do that. The tools thing was like, I wouldn't it be cool if we just gave them tools? And he's like, I think, yeah, I'll come back to you. And 3 days later, we had a prototype. So yeah, the designing client experience, I think, will increasingly be our job. Same way I built software, so it's not foreign to me. So I guess I got a natural advantage.
James, if we
Julie, I'm going to go to Pip. You just keep interrupting.
Sorry?
I'm annoyed
Sorry?
with you today. I can't be bothered with you today, Julie. Hey, Pip.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hi. Sorry, this is probably a very obvious question. I've just had my course.
There's only
built
so
up.
much, Julie, I can take, guys. I'm sorry, Pip.
That's all right. I've just had my course built out on base 44. Does this all integrate still? Can I still use?
Won't integrate, but
Mhm.
the tools can be used standalone.
Okay.
So the tools they'll be separate,
hmm
but the underlying, like anything from the courses, like material or recordings or anything like that, just can be used as training data.
Okay. Excellent. Sorry, I probably should have done this first before I had that brought out. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, there's no best platform, right? And when I was building Solo OS, we got scope creep. Like, I don't want clients to have to log into school to do that and that. And
I know.
so
Well,
we
that's
ended
why
up just building it.
yeah. I didn't want to do school. I didn't want to go high level. Anyway, if there's a way to still streamline it.
Yeah, I wanted an all-in-one. I wanted a single-use piece because I think it's the most. But there are plenty of cases where that's just not viable for people or not practical. A lot of fitness coaches and stuff use some of the apps to deliver workouts and routines and those kind of things. So there's always a little bit of this lives over here and that lives over there kind of naturally because the clients have the app. So
because I have actually am just currently partnering with Ovum, which is an app built for women's health. So that's one way they can do all the trackers. But at the moment, there's no practitioner version. Like I can't see that data. It's just a matter of my clients sending me the information, or screenshotting it.
yeah.
So even if I could build something like that version so that they can keep on track, and that's like having their own version of me in the Ovum app to be able to talk them through their health. But I'd like it if it was my own. Yeah.
I mean, in the not too distant future, everyone will have their own app because it's just the way it's going to be, kind of thing. But obviously, the way we've built the tools means that they've just got a link and access control. So as long as you can embed a link in some of those apps, you could have a reporting tool where clients reported in, and that kind of sent you a notification with that report. But rather than them having to fill in a form, they're just chatting to an AI tool where it's like, how's your week going? What's he doing? What's those kind of things. So it's more conversational in terms of a check-in.
And should I build this in before I come to Bali?
No.
So just come to Bali.
It's just process planning.
Okay. Excellent.
It's much easier for us together to integrate and work out how all those things fit together from a client experience point of view.
I'm thrilled to hear that.
Technology should aid the client experience and smooth it,
Mm.
not kind of get in the way of it, and also get in the way of our creation of it. It's got in the way of a lot of people.
Yeah.
Oh, what platform do I use? People try and ask that question for months at a time. Like, there's no
Oh my
best one,
God.
just choose.
Yes. Okay, good to know. But we'll do a lot of this work and bring it all together when we're in Bali anyway.
Yeah, definitely.
Great. We can actually take a break. Thanks, James.
So Dion, the network that I'm building isn't a network of communities like schoolers. It's a network of tools. So I've done a couple of workshops for friends recently, and they're going to come and do workshops with us, but we're going to turn those workshops into tools. Like my friend Ali is pretty good at YouTube, and we can have the Ali Abdaal YouTube creation tool, and then when we roll it out, it'll be available in SoloOS, but it'll also be available in James's platform or any other people that we're building the tools for. So we actually create a network effect of tools where we can kind of crowdsource the best IP and the best insights.
That's cool. That's cool
product
too.
names tool.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool too. I was just looking at it more as like an external thing. It's just it's a pool of, it's an audience. It's got a user base that makes an audience, and
yeah.
I'm not suggesting anyone should do that. You've got plenty of audience and whatnot going on anyway. Cool. This has been great, by the way. Looking forward to, we've had the email chats, so save them. Looking forward to what's coming next year.
Cool. There's plenty more. Hey, Hutch.
Hey, mate. How are you?
Good.
So I'm pivoting from business coaching to the exit readiness for founders wanting to sell a business. And this has been enlightening for me in terms of having my own tools. I just did a quick ChatGPT ask. There's currently 16,225 active business listings in Australia. It says on Seek, I asked for an average dollar sale. It says Seek businesses 6,700, price between 300,000 and 2 mil plus. So the exit readiness, working with the offer printer, creating game plan for an exit readiness chat, get yourself, and the magic trip being the Score app or an app to red, yellow, green, whether you're ready or not. Am I just in the weeds with what's possible with that? Because I think brokers.
This one's really simple, isn't it?
Yeah,
I would sell a very low cost exit readiness report.
Yep.
Using a SoloOS tool, so a business owner can go in there and answer some questions. This is your marketing, your operations, your margins, your
Mm-hmm.
And it produces an exit readiness report in a Google Doc, right? And then you say, do you want an exit readiness plan? It's $500. Click here. They bring the report to the call. And then they say, I want to exit in 3 years. And then you've shown them the plan to do that.
Yeah.
And then you say, do you want some help with that? And they go, yeah. How do we do that?
Hey, James, sorry to chime in. Is this okay?
I don't know. Make it okay.
We have another Julie. There's another Julie here.
You've got to work really hard to make it okay.
Oh, so here we go. Just on that, the offer printer helped me create the 2 client engine, which was sort of a continuation of our. I
You're
was
interrupting.
going to say
Give me a
that.
sec. I'm a lot less tolerant today. So I got rid of Julie. Keep going, Hutch.
All right, so
I'll come to you after Dion.
it's the red wine blues. Okay. Oh, great. Okay. Yeah. Because what I love about SolarOS is that I can dial it up at 5 a.m. Queensland time, and I think you're right. I think I'll probably ask it more in-depth questions, because I think, in my mind, for people selling their business, if they've got any.
Yeah, but you just got to think about the market, like not really what you want to deliver, right? What's the question? What's the first question that someone asks in their head when they start thinking about, like, oh, I want to retire in 5 years. Like, what do I do with the business? I could sell it. Is it ready to sell? Okay. Is it even sellable? Like, what's it worth? All the questions,
That's
right?
a good question.
So having a exit readiness report, and that pops up on Facebook, and they're scrolling and it says, oh, I can do that report, and it's $10. Right. Get an exit ready, find out how ready your business is to sell in 10 minutes for $10.
Yeah, I like it, because convincing people or showing people that they can grow a business is, as I think you put out in recent emails, is it doesn't really, you're going to get paid more to show people how to do something rather than give them something to go to. That I probably didn't define that properly, but I will help you sell your business. In turn, actually, like, you want it to, like, if you're selling a car or you're selling your house, at the point that it's ready for sale, it's the best it's ever looked. And you go, actually, that car's not so bad. We probably could keep it, or maybe I should give it to the kids. So you could tidy it, get rid of all the dents, declutter, and it's looking the best it could. You might want to keep it, but then you might want to sell it. So yeah, I think in the depth, people, when they get annoyed with it, they go, let's just sell it. What would it be worth? Let's throw the keys at somebody. So yeah, I think there's a massive opportunity there. So which of it's not the offer printer that as a tool, would work with that. What tool would you?
Yes, it is. The offer printer just outputs structured. It's an offer, but it's a report. It's just structured data.
So it takes the parameters and then asks the questions, and then
you get your exit readiness report in a Google Doc.
Yeah, awesome. I love it. Okay.
Like the game plans we're doing, that it's going to get a game plan and a Google Doc. This is your game plan.
Yeah.
Here's some diagrams. Here's some things. Here's the business. Here's the offers. Here's how it fits together.
So in terms of testing, I could just use something like Score App in the short term to.
Sure, but you just need to ask them some questions.
Yeah.
Like what? Think about the human process. Like, what questions would you ask someone to work out whether their business is ready to sell?
My mate Sovereign JK gave me those this morning, so we're all good.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's awesome. Yeah, it really is mind blowing, isn't it? As to the width and breadth of this thing that you can actually take on.
Yeah, it's what I've tried to define today is that everything is a process. To get a result on the other side of something, everything's a process. Some processes get run daily, some processes get run weekly, some monthly, some annually, some once in a lifetime, like an exit kind of thing, once ever. But if you think of everything that you do as a process, then it's likely AI can make that process faster. It can make it cheaper. And it can probably make it better. And so when we think of those things, then we just have this massive cornucopia of like opportunities of like where to put it, right? Because for me, it's completely changed everything from all the way to how I work with people one-on-one in terms of coaching to speed things up or have like more consistent presence, all the way to, how I acquire clients and how I deliver to them too. I can offer and promise a hell of a lot more now than I could before, right? I can take risks on guaranteeing things that were very difficult to guarantee before because it's a process, right? And you have more controllable inputs and more controllable outputs.
And like Dan, I've got a spreadsheet for, squeezing the most profit out of it, which is a pain in the ass to talk to people about and actually get the numbers in there.
I don't like spreadsheets.
Yeah.
No one likes writing offer docs. Like no one, there's only some sickos like me who actually even like creating content or, so the relief that we can provide people in the course of process is gigantic. It's massive.
It's amazing the synergy between AI and sovereign consultant as well. It really does. It's not like, oh shit, I have to change my whole thought process now to ride this current wave. It actually, for those people that have large teams, must be asking them some questions.
Yeah, a friend of mine has got 36 virtual employees, and each of his employees has a virtual employee, right? And their portfolio company's got 17 companies in it, and he said that the 36 virtual employees have probably replaced about 20 hires they were going to make, and they weren't cheap hires. They were in marketing and finance and in those kind of places. So yeah, it's changing. It's changing and will change everything. But if you get too caught up in that narrative, you can't see the wood for the trees, which is right now it can condense and compress process that you're asking people to do, or as we've kind of talked about today, give them experiences to do things that are much more interesting and pleasurable than maybe dick around with a spreadsheet or make a Facebook post or whatever.
I think if I just hark back to my little world for a moment, I think that one of the exit readiness areas where we'll look at is, if profit is basically, gross volume less expenses, if you can replace some of those expenses with some AI tools, then automatically it makes your business more valuable, and just in a numbers point of view. So I think there's things to add on along the way as well. But
right now AI is a buzzword, and in a year to 18 months, people won't care how a process is done or how it's solved for it, etc. It's like they used to talk about marketing and online marketing like two different things, and now people just talk about marketing. People used to talk about automation and AI as two different things, and in the future will just be automation, right? So yeah, everything collapses back to the whatever the thing you're trying to do.
I liked how you kicked it off, actually. I mean, like, what does even AI mean now? I mean, it means a different thing to a teenager than it does to a
I always had an issue with how people are like, you need to get into AI. Well, what does it even mean? You need to be AI. You need to do AI. What does that mean? I spent 6 months working out what it meant, because it's just such an abstract. It's like, you need to be internet. You need to be social. It's like, what? It doesn't mean anything. So to my goal is to give it, like, I gave it context for me, and obviously I've built it in front of everyone, and then I'll give it context for you so you can map the same thing.
Well, I suppose where there's confusion, it allows us to ask the question, would you like some help with that? So
yeah, there's lots of money in confusion for a while.
Confucius. Thanks, Confucius.
Hey, Corinne. You got something else, or you just putting your hand up?
Hey again, sorry, ask another question.
That's right.
How do I know?
No one else has got anything?
I was wanting to ask you, how do I know when I should increase the $100 offer and increase the price? What's the signal that I need to have?
I can't answer that question accurately. I don't know enough.
Okay. Did you what did you start off with? Was it always 500?
I mean, in terms of weekly investments, I've run everything from 50 to 1500, 2500 actually. 500 is a number that is easy to start on, but more importantly, it's easy to stick on. So in money-based or business-based coaching, if you're asking for anything that goes for too long above 10% of someone's net profit or net take home, then you threaten churn based on financial reasons, right? So at 2K a month, someone at 10K is probably going to churn in 3 months. Someone at 20K a month is probably going to stay for as long as they need to. Someone at 50K a month isn't even going to think about it. Someone at 100K, you're just a line item, right? So it's 500 is easy to sell to the right people, but it's also easy to keep at the right kind of revenue and income and profit levels.
So is it just like a testing thing for me? Like,
yeah,
if it works at 100 and I'm getting booked out in full, then I'll just up it.
Like pricing's like trying to PB your squat, right? You start below what you can do, what you can do today, and you work towards your previous maximum so you can exceed it, right? So the first move on pricing is not metaphorically, literally underpricing. Because pricing doesn't create any kind of market positioning like people think it does. Pricing is relative at the time of it. So pricing, just because something's $100 doesn't mean that it's cheap and nasty like people think it is. But something that's $100 next to something that $500 gets compared to the $500 thing, not everything else. So people misunderstand pricing. They think that, oh, if I price it too low, then people are going to think I'm like that. Don't get me wrong. That is possible if you're like way outside the market parameters. You know, if someone offers you a Hermes handbag out the back of a car boot for $500, you're going to question its, you know, its integrity and its validity, right? So it's relative, but when you're in the realms of something that is like within the market parameters, then you can't really start too low. There's no such thing.
Okay. And when you're saying it's sort of like, you know, you're wanting to increase your rep, right? So like you're with the weight, how much do I go up by once I've, you know, proven the concept, everyone's booking in, it's working? Do I go up 10%, 20%, or?
It's not always about going up. It's about, does it fulfill the volume that you kind of need to do it? Like game plan calls are relative to the volume you require. I sold over 35 at 500 and about 5 at 1500, right? I don't want that many. I can't do that many, you know, because I did them all in 3 weeks. I just can't do that many. I don't want to do that many, but it's a good product. So what do? Well, I just choose the midpoint. So I've put them at 1,000 and I'll get 3 to 5 a week right there, which is about the number that I want to do. And when I do them, what is the behavior of the people who do them? Do they become clients? Do they do that? Because I'm not just looking at the value of the thing and the pricing of it. I'm looking at what the behavior is, right? When I launched Client in 7 and it was $98 and it had lifetime access to the offer printer, turned out to be a dumb offer. because
Mhm.
it was so good that no one really upgraded. Well, they did, but not in a percentage that I found very meaningful. And so the offer was like underpriced or over packaged because of our lifetime thing.
Right.
So it's all,
That makes sense.
you can't make pricing decisions in isolation because by looking at the marketplace or anything like that. You go,
Mhm.
I'm going to start these at $100. I'm okay. I got lots of volume for them. Lots of volume is welcome right now because it gets me clients.
Mhm.
I'm going to go up a little bit to 150 and see what happens. I'm going to go
Okay.
up to 200 and see what happens.
And with your availability in your diary, no matter if like they book out, say 3 weeks, is there a strategy around?
It does, yeah.
So how tight should I have my availability
A
on my
week.
calendar?
A week.
A week.
Yeah.
Okay.
People buy
Even though
things. People buy
even
things
though
in
the
the
paper.
people buy things in the anticipation of kind of moving on a journey towards solving a problem. And when you're giving someone a plan, when they buy the thing, they're very much sold on the concept that they're buying right then and there. And the closer they buy it and act on it, the more likely they are to continue the motion of like fixing and solving for and executing the plan, right? And so, one of the concepts I taught J.K. Molina, which was like massively game changing, is like once a client is in motion, don't stop them. And what that means is that there's always a short turnaround to like, do you want some help with that? Do you want to do the plan? Do you want the next thing? And it's flowing. When they buy something, you're putting them in motion. And then they're in motion. And if you interrupt it, they'll be like, oh, this isn't a priority anymore. And
Right.
so you got to shorten the timeframes that people can do stuff and act on, because once they go in motion, they tend to continue in that motion.
Okay. Because I was worried as well, because sometimes in a week I may not be available. So my calendar is full. And I'm usually working with busy people, and they're not usually free in a week. But I assume that if it's something that they really want to solve and it's a priority, they'll find the time. Is that what we're saying?
Yeah. They always do. I mean, 50% of my clients are in North America. I live and work in a very, very unfriendly time zone towards North America, but people choose to make it work, right?
Mm-hmm. That's
So
true.
just set your stall out like that.
Cool. Thanks again.
Cool.
Appreciate it.
Last call. Any questions? Oh, good. I'll have clarity over our Solo OS timeframes in the next few days. I think we're looking at probably a rollout and a proper launch. We're prioritizing our white label folks and clients first. So we're probably looking at a Solo OS launch about the 14th or something like that. So it'll be around there, but everyone will get access to it, and we'll start helping you build some tools. Going to be fun. Okay, peeps. I'll see you around.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.